Hello viewers, welcome back. I'm Dr. Sumit Bakshi. This video is quick revision of sampling methods. Although you can watch all the sampling methods in detail with example on my channel, I will give link of the sampling playlist in the description box, or you can click I button on here top right to check different methods separately. Along with the sampling method, this video includes population, sample, sampling and non-sampling errors, sampling bias, and characteristics of a good sample. So let's start the video. First, what is population and sample? Let's say a researcher wants to study perception of common people about COVID-19 in a city. Then population of the study will be population of adult resident of that city. But researcher cannot collect data from all the residents. That is not feasible. For that, researchers select sample of few residents which represents the whole population. And researcher collect data from those elements only, from that sample only. So that means what is population? Entire set of elements researcher want to study, or you can say individuals on whom researcher intends to generalize findings. That is our population. In this example, all the adult resident of the city is our population. Then what is sample? Subset of the population, or you can say individuals who actually participate. As in the example, researchers selected few members of the city from whom he has collected the data. That is sample. Sample is part of population because researcher cannot collect data from all the elements of the population. That is why he select few elements from that population to collect data, which is actually true representative of the population. To draw sample from the population, there are various sampling methods which are categorized into two types: probability sampling method and non-probability sampling method. In probability sampling method, there are different methods: simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified random sampling, cluster sampling, and multi-stage sampling. In non-probability sampling method, there are convenience sampling, purposive sampling, quota sampling, and snowball sampling. We will discuss all the methods one by one. First method is simple random sampling, or SRS. This is most common sampling method. It is used when complete list of population is known to researcher or population is homogeneous. That means members are alike with respect to study characteristics. In this method, a number is allotted to all the members of the population, and there are three techniques, which is lottery method, or you can say hat method. Second is table of random numbers. Third is random number generator. Researcher can use any one technique out of these to draw the sample using simple random sampling. For details of these three techniques, you can check my other video. Next is systematic sampling. This method is also come under probability sampling method. It is used when units are uniformly distributed and there is no fixed pattern among the elements of the population. If there is fixed pattern among the elements, then you should go for simple random sampling. Also, it is used when population is homogeneous. This method is used using the formula systematic sampling interval is equal to population size divided by sample size, and then value of k is calculated. K is here systematic sampling interval. That means researcher can start from any element. Researcher can draw even first member, second member, third member, fourth member, any member as the first sample. Then after every kth element, researcher will keep on drawing the sample. Next method is stratified random sampling. Now, why it is used over simple random sampling or systematic sampling? Stratified random sampling is used when population is heterogeneous, or it can be divided into mutually exclusive groups. When our population is homogeneous, we should go for simple random sampling or systematic sampling. But if your population is heterogeneous, then you should go for stratified random sampling. This can be asked in any entrance exam too, that when your population is homogeneous, which method is suitable. Next, stratified random sampling is also used when we cannot draw true representative sample from the population through simple random sampling or systematic sampling because we have heterogeneous population here. Now, how this method is used? We have heterogeneous population. This heterogeneous population can be divided into two homogeneous groups or strata, you can say. Then after using this formula, sample from strata is equal to sample size divided by population size multiplied by strata size. Researcher can collect the sample from these homogeneous groups separately. Next is cluster sampling. In cluster sampling, whole population is divided into different clusters. Then among those clusters, few clusters are selected randomly as sample using simple random sampling. But you have to be taken care of few things while dividing the whole population into clusters. Clusters created should be true representative of the population. Different clusters created should have similar characteristics. These clusters should have similar characteristics. Clusters should be mutually homogeneous but internally heterogeneous. Clusters should be mutually exclusive. All clusters combined should build population. Now, many students get confused between these lines, mutually homogeneous, internally heterogeneous. What does it mean? How it is different from stratified random sampling? For that, you can check my other video in which I have explained clearly the difference between stratified sampling and cluster sampling. What is the difference between strata and cluster? Next method is multi-stage sampling, or you can say another form of cluster sampling. In cluster sampling, there is only one stage, but in multi-stage sampling, there are various stages. That is why it is called multi-stage sampling. This question can be asked in your entrance, which method is related to multi-stage sampling? Or various methods can be given as option. Your answer should be cluster sampling. In multi-stage sampling, the whole population is divided into clusters and then those clusters are selected randomly as we did in cluster sampling. But here again those clusters are divided into sub-clusters and those sub-clusters are selected randomly. This process goes on till researcher reach its desired sample size. Let's say at this stage researcher has reached its desired sample size, researcher will stop here. If not, researcher again will select few members among these to select sample to reach the desired sample size. Now, when it is used, when population is spread into large geographical area, or when it is not feasible in terms of cost or time to test whole cluster or use simple random sampling, or when it is difficult to divide data into different strata. Multi-stage cluster sampling is used. Till now we have discussed probability sampling methods. Now we will discuss non-probability sampling methods. In non-probability sampling method, the first one is convenience sampling. In this method, researchers select the sample which is close to his hands, or you can say which is easily available to researcher. That is why it's named as convenience sampling. But it is not based on the convenience of researcher. It is often confused with convenience of researcher. It is used when researcher does not have complete list of target population in hand, or sometimes researcher does not have the opportunity to select the sample randomly due to time, cost or traveling restrictions. For example, in COVID time, there was traveling restrictions. So researcher could select the sample which is close to his hand or which is close to his area, which is easily available to researcher. Next method is purposive sampling. As its name suggests, purposive sampling is used on the basis of purpose of the study. In this, researcher should be aware about the purpose of the study. Then on the basis of purpose, he selects sample. For example, a researcher wants to compare health status of common people who play different games in a city. But he will select those sample only, those elements only who play the specific games which is part of that study. He will not randomly select any member who play any game. Purposive sampling is used on purpose to get the sample from whom researcher can get maximum information. It is used when researcher wants to select subset of population with some common characteristics of study. It is also used when there are limited number of primary data available for the study. Researchers or students many times get confused with convenience sampling or purposive sampling. For that, you can check my video on difference between convenience sampling and purposive sampling. Next non-probability sampling method is quota sampling. Quota sampling is used when population is heterogeneous and can be divided into mutually exclusive homogeneous groups. It is as same as stratified random sampling, but it is used when we cannot draw sample from population using stratified random sampling. Then what is the difference between quota sampling and stratified random sampling? In stratified random sampling, after dividing the population, heterogeneous population into homogeneous groups, we can use simple random sampling or systematic random sampling to draw the sample. But in quota sampling, after dividing the heterogeneous population into homogeneous groups, we can use convenience sampling or judgment sampling, because due to some reasons we cannot use simple random sampling or systematic random sampling, then we go for convenience or judgment sampling. Then it is quota sampling. Last method is snowball sampling. It is part of non-probability sampling method. In this method, researchers select few members initially as sample. Then those members give reference of another members to the researcher or reveal the identity of other members to the researcher, so the researcher can get those members as sample. This process goes on till the time researcher reaches its desired sample size. Snowball sampling is used when researcher does not have complete list of population or it is difficult to locate members of the population. When the population is unknown and rare. When sample with target characteristics are not easily accessible. For example, people with rare diseases like HIV/AIDS or sex workers, drug users, homeless people, illegal migrants, etc. This was all about sampling methods. Now moving towards sampling and non-sampling error. What is sampling error? When sample is not true representative of the population. As we have discussed in probability sampling method, researcher intention is to draw true representative sample from the population. But it is not like 100% sure to get true representative sample. Researcher cannot get 100% true representative sample from the population even if he uses probability sampling method. In non-probability sampling method, researcher cannot draw true representative sample from the population. So this error cannot be eliminated, but it can be reduced if researcher uses probability sampling methods. Next is non-sampling error. Non-sampling error are those error which are other than sampling error, like response error. Researcher get the response from the sample collected sample. If the sample is not giving the accurate response, few members are not giving accurate response or true response or honest response, in that case it can be response error, or there can be any kind of measurement error. If researcher commits some mistake while doing data analysis, while using statistical techniques, then that error comes under non-sampling error. What is sampling bias? Sampling bias occurs when sample is not selected randomly. That is when few members of the population have more probability of being selected than others. That means the sampling bias is related to randomness of the selection. If the selection is random, then there is less sampling bias, or if selection is non-random, then there is sampling bias. In non-probability sampling method, there are high chances of more sampling bias due to non-randomness of the selection. Last is characteristics of a good sample. A good sample should be selected randomly. It should be true representative of the population. It should be proportionate to the population if possible, as we did in stratified random sampling. Sampling error should be less. Although we cannot eliminate sampling error, but it should be reduced as much as possible. For that, sample size should be selected is large to reduce sampling error and generalize results. It should be free from non-sampling errors and sampling bias. It should fulfill objectives of the study. It should be practically feasible and economical in terms of cost and time. At last, I can say we should use probability sampling method as far as possible. If probability sampling methods is not possible to use in your study, then go for non-probability sampling methods. That's it. Thank you. For details of all the sampling methods, you can check the sampling playlist on my channel. The link is given in the description box below. Hope you like this video. If you find this video worth, then press the like button, subscribe to Dr. Sumit Bakshi, and don't forget to share with your friends. Thank you.